Welcome to the Loyalty Builders podcast, where together with the top loyalty and product experts, we discuss how to maximize customer acquisition, engagement, and retention by using a loyalty engine. Building loyalty is complex, but with the right toolkit and market-proven knowledge, you will maximize the use of your products and services faster than learning from your own mistakes. Subscribe to our newsletter and twice a week get tried and tested tactics to build and improve customer loyalty. Hey everyone! This time I'm so excited because we're discussing successful strategies for acquiring, engaging and retaining customers with our own customers. The goal of this episode is to share real-life use cases to help you design and implement loyalty and gamification mechanics to drive business results. And our guests are Geoffrey, Schiavon, Head of Marketing and Client Success at Dakadu, and Jonas Minke, Head of Product at Dakadu. For those of you who are not familiar, Dakadu provides solutions for digital health engagement and health risk quantification. They use gamification to help end users improve their health outcomes and assist clients in enhancing their customer engagement and loyalty. Recently, we've published a great case study showcasing a B2B2C digital health engagement platform with gamification mechanics. You'll find a link in the description. So without further ado, here's Geoffrey and Jonas. Hi Geoffrey, hi Jonas, it's great to have you on the show.
Hi Eric, very great to be there as well. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited about this episode in particular because I'm a huge fan of the products you built. I'm lucky enough because I was working with Jonas when we created the case study. So I know a bit of like a background of Dakadu, and I actually know a bit about the platform that you provide. But for our listeners, for the people who actually have the first touch with Dakadu, could you briefly explain, what the platform is, what the company stands for?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Eric. So Dakadu, we are a Swiss-based technology company, and we focus mainly on solutions for digital health engagement and health risk quantification. So we use gamification to help our end users improve their health outcomes. But in the same way, we also want to help our clients to improve on their customer engagement and their loyalty through the personalization that they can achieve with that. We have a white label offering and an API. So our customers, they can develop their own application on top of our platform. They can also rely on our front-end applications that we build and that are mainly ready to be used directly.
Cool. Thank you so much. So I guess that, this perspective has brought so much clarity to everyone listening. And I've prepared a set of questions, and the first one is like more oriented on the business outcomes. So if you could describe some of the unique challenges you have faced in acquiring, engaging, and retaining customers, specifically in your target industries. So this is healthcare, right? This is insurance. This is retail.
Correct.
Cool. So if you could bring your perspective here.
Sure. I think if I can just add also something, what makes us unique, in the market, in order also for the listener to understand, is we have been creating a health score, which is providing a holistic view of user health, because you can ask to your grandmother, how do you feel today? She can answer, well, I'm super healthy, yeah, but what does it mean concretely? I can answer the exact same question, but I know that I don't have the same health as my grandmother. So the idea is we have been creating that. It has been developed over 9 years. It's based on 400 million person years of scientific data, and we use biometric, lifestyle, or psychometric input to create a representation with a score which is from 0 to 1,000. And this is also something which is very seducing for our users and for the users of our clients, is being able to have that view about are they actually in a good health. So I would say the first challenge that we solved was to try to have health, to make health understandable, okay, with all those users. When we talk about the different industries and the challenges that we might have, it completely depends about the type of client that we have, because we are working, of course, with life and health insurance, okay, but also with retailers and banks, and all of them. Each client, I would say, is unique. Basically, we have some clients, mainly in life insurance. They want to increase or to create an interaction with the users. What we have to understand, and what people know, is the connection that you will have with your life insurer is just once per year when you are receiving, maybe the billing in order to pay, okay, but that's all. And for life insurer, what they try to build now is to create that relationship with their users, okay? And this is what we are doing with our platform, is we are giving them the opportunity to solve one of the main challenge, which is how do I connect with my clients? How do I interact with him and maybe deliver extra service that will develop redemption and retention, of course, of that service. So I would say this is the main things. Of course, and Jonas, feel free to jump here, but of course, the gamification is a big part of how we engage those users on the long term. This is how we have been solving that.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying that. It's great that, well, the challenge, exactly as you said, I believe that this is a sort of, when it comes to insurance, the problem is that you do not have that much context to interact regularly. But here, you have developed this tool that actually gives you this beautiful context, because it is both like valuable, helpful, right? Because it also stimulates health. So this is cool that you actually introduce a sort of like a goal that is compatible with the main business goal of the company. Okay.
And what is interesting is health is a marathon, I would say. It's a long-term objective, and that's why also we have to explain that sometimes to the end client, that they won't increase their score by 100 points in just a couple of days. No, absolutely not. It's, of course, there is all this gamification, but health is just a component on that in order for them to improve that health.
Sure. And what I've seen is like that, because gamification is a hot topic right now. A lot of businesses, they try to figure out, okay, how do I use gamification mechanics in the user experience, in my product? But I think that this is critical, what you have mentioned, that it's about building habits. So whenever you identify those, in your case, it's pretty straightforward, healthy habits, and then you use gamification actually to make people contextually use the platform every single day, right? Then I think that this is something really inspiring, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of our listeners will actually get the sort of idea based on your example here.
Yeah, and as Geoffrey mentioned, so we want to make really health understandable and actionable. And forming these habits makes actually the user improve their health. So we have the health score, and we represent it in the Wheel of Life for our white label applications. Now, our customers, they can visualize this differently if they wish to. So they can just visualize the health score, maybe also the Wheel of Life. They can also visualize like how many years of health you gain by living healthier. Now, in the goals, what we try to accomplish with this gamification is to form these habits. And for this, throughout our Wheel of Life, we have goals on nutrition, on activity, on sleep, and for example, mindfulness. That's a very big topic today. Many people are aware that mindfulness is very important for the user health. And those are goals that we help the user really get into a healthier lifestyle by either doing activities with their wearables, like walk, sleep, or by doing an active check-in. So, for example, if you have a goal where we say, let's help you stop smoking, or another one is like how to drink alcohol with more moderation. So one drink is fine, too many is not okay. And here we ask the user to really go to the app and actively check in and say, I was really not smoking today. This helps the user also be more real to what he's doing and take this into his mind. I'm doing something for myself.
Right. So in this case, it creates this feeling of success, right? If you have done something that is beneficial to your health, then automatically you can turn it into some sort of achievement.
Absolutely, yes. And these achievements can be either we give a user a nice message telling him what did he accomplish right now. For example, if you stop smoking after 10 days, you start seeing some differences in your body. But it can be also with points. So this is where the whole rewards and loyalty area comes in place, where we can give a user points for doing healthy things.
Right. Perhaps one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of this product is that in marketing, we very often use this customer lifetime value as a metric. And here, you basically look at lifetime, but from this like a perspective that, well, you are in a position to do something about it, right? You can improve your life quality. You can even like, as you mentioned before, Jonas, that you might predict on how your daily habits impact the length of your life, right? Which means that still you actually have a lot of more benefits to choosing how you live every day, because it has like a huge impact on the whole life.
Absolutely. And this is a win-win. So the user lives longer, he lives better longer, and the insurances or whoever is the sponsor of this platform also gets a benefit, like a life insurance. Make sure that you actually live longer, healthier.
Right. Absolutely. So as you said, it's a kind of like a win-win situation, which is also a very good perspective when you think about planning such gamification activities, or something as Geoffrey said, you've mentioned that it's providing some extra value so that users can have actually real context and reason to interact with the brand more. So this is great.
That's correct. And if I may add, sorry, but there is also different topics for health insurance, for instance. Today, healthy aging is a big topic, as Jonas was saying, in order to, in the future, because we all know that we live longer. We all know that we want to have a better health when we finally get retired, for instance, and kind of things. And that's also a very important topic for all those health insurance to be able to reduce the claims, the frequency of the claim, but also the cost of each of those claims. So that's also another key aspect for that. For retailers, to add as well, retailers, it might be a little bit different. Some of them, they want to drive good behavior, as we were saying, into the food, because we know the impact of industrial foods, and all those products with added sugars, etc., etc. So now what they try to do is to drive people to those natural product or non-transformed product, I would say, that will, of course, deliver better health for their users at the end.
Okay, so now because thank you for providing this context, because we already have like some use cases from typical business scenarios. But so if I understand it correctly, when applying your product, let's say to retail, like food retail, then you could make more conscious choices about the products you decide to buy, and then the impact of those products on your health, on the way you feel, on the way you work out, right?
That's correct. And our gamification, I would say, is the first interaction that we are creating with the users. But basically, if I take back the example that Jonas was saying about goals, we have all those nutrition goals. As a retailer, a supermarket chain, for instance, there is absolutely no problem for me to take the goal that have been created by the Dakado team, and to custom them in order to promote maybe some specific products, So we have a goal which is start with a salad, for instance. Then in that case, I can also promote some specific product. At the end, of course, there is always a revenue associated to that. Makes sense, of course. We are here in the business world. But this is what they can do. They can custom that in order to really have a relevant experience for the users.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm loving that. So if we could maybe go through some successful strategies that your client have implemented to both drive their business goals, but also bearing in mind that they stimulate the healthy behavior of their customers. Could you present some more of these strategies?
Do you want to go, Jonas? Do you want me to start?
Do you want to start with Irish Life?
Yes. Let's go with them. So Irish Life is a life and health insurer in Ireland. Okay. And what we always say to our clients is they should promote the event and not the technology. What does it mean? It means that people won't join, your platform. They will join for something you are doing supported by your platform. Okay. And it's something that our clients totally understood. And what they are creating today is they are creating a massive challenge, okay, in partnership with famous sports associations, okay, so using also the branding power of another company, influence, extra, to create a massive challenge where reward will be also important, because of course we'll discuss about reward because this is also a big topics, but where reward is also important. And they are creating this massive buzz, for more than a month, where they are going to have thousands of users joining, including new users, that because their platform is open to public, okay? So it's also giving them at the end an opportunity to increase their conversions. But basically this amount of new users is going to be to participate to a challenge using their platform. So it's mandatory. You cannot participate if you don't download the app, okay? And like that, they are also gathering all this data, all this experience, and they are creating a massive things. This is one of the best acquisition use case, I would say, that we have. Of course, the challenge coming next to that is how do you retain them into the platform? How can you make sure that they won't stay just for the event, but they will continue to be retained into the platform? And this is why we have also gamification coming in, with coach messages, goals as well that you can perform, or other challenges.
Okay.
Jonas, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, that's a very good example of a B2C proposition where it's open for the whole population of that country. It's also to other, but it's really great to see how many people participate and they get into contact with that specific company, Irish Life. We also have other examples where on the B2B area, so where a customer of us, they have corporate well-being solutions by using Dakadu. And here they try to make sure that the employees are living a healthier lifestyle. They take care of work-life balance. And of course, this helps the employer to have people that are healthy in the work environment, but also the people are more happier because they are aware of the things that they should take care of during the day. So, for example, let's stand more. So, I don't know, like every hour, walk a little bit and then don't sit too long. These are all small things that you can do to improve your lifestyle and health.
Absolutely. And it also, this context that you have just provided, it also shows that it becomes an element of the company culture, I would say. If the company says that it's important actually, to walk around the office during the daytime, right? To do some activities. So it means that staying healthy is a part of the company culture in this case. So I can see it not only as there are so many different ways that it can improve the way we work and we live.
No, that's correct. And when you see all the companies today, they have some sort of well-being strategies, for employees, also for their end clients. But what is always impressive for us is when we are discussing with our employers' clients, is usually our main contacts are HR manager or HR directors, okay? And when we are able to give them the status of the mental well-being of the marketing team or finance team, for instance, and they see that actually the stress score is just a big increase, then this is where they said, wow, okay, now we have the proof, we have an evidence that we need to take action into that specific team if we don't want our department to burn, for instance. Just one example among others. But this is also the power of that gamification and how people are interacting, because they start to trust the platform, and our messages allows us to update any of those specific data.
Brilliant. So it actually sends out signals, and then you can based on the signals that you get, you can act in order, for example, not to let your people, like endure stress too much or for too long a period, right? Or then you can actually react before a negative scenario happens, let's say, right? Or so awesome.
Of course, we are very privacy aware, so we don't provide names and the specific values to those HR departments, and we have a totally automatic coaching. So we have a rule-based coach that whenever the coach identifies that certain criteria are met, for example, your mental well-being is very low, we can trigger a series of messages and recommendations to help the user actually go back to a good state. So that would be all independent from anyone taking the view on the specific user. And that's a way for us to automate and be sure that the privacy is always taken care of.
Sure. But still, like, bearing in mind privacy, you could, let's say, send signals, let's say some group sentiment or something like that, that you don't see the individual, but on the other hand, as you've mentioned, the coach acts as an individual, let's say, way to communicate, right, with a person. So you can actually make sure that this person understands that something might be done to improve the situation, and it all happens automatically, right?
Correct. And so aside from the coach, as Geoffrey was mentioning, we have dashboards and views reporting where the operators of the platform can really segment and see the population of those segments, how well are they, and based on this segmentation, they can also apply some content, some gamification areas to try to boost this up. So one example again, on activity, you could see that maybe the B2B environment, it could be, let's say, again, the marketing department, but it could also be in the B2C, where you say, okay, everyone in London area, they're not very active. So you can target those people with specific challenges. So that's another feature we have, where we allow groups to compete either one group against the other or on an individual level. And you can target those groups with those specific contents. So again, you can create a challenge for the marketing department, make sure they move a little bit more. You can add rewards on top of it. So those are ways to help improve on a group level specific users or specific groups of users that are not doing so well.
Okay, excellent. So we have like this social element to gamification, and also the sort of like component that sometimes allows you to use this competition, right, between, as you mentioned, the teams. And now I can see even more possibilities. So thank you so much for providing these examples. You've mentioned great acquisition scenario. We talked a bit about engagement, but we are going to talk about gamification in a moment. But I wanted to ask you about churn. Churn is one of those, like, business related KPI, let's say, or like, sort of like a metric that we pay attention to. Are there any specific scenarios that might prevent churn?
That's a very broad topic here. More than a KPI, it's also a challenge. Definitely, the churn rate is also something that we take a look. Of course, we have different strategies to try to let's say awake our dormant users, or make sure the inactive become active. I would say the first thing is, of course, a reduced churn is the outcome of a well-executed engagement strategy. Okay, makes totally sense. But of course, if you manage to reduce the numbers of inactive people on day one, retention for us is like a wave. If you manage to increase your retention on day one, in that case, you will see the result on day 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. Okay, so I would say that's a very important point, to make sure that your very first engagement plan is well executed, because it will help definitely to reduce the churn at the end. Then on our side, in our department, client success at Dakadu, we propose different packages to our clients in order to help them to understand the churn first. Okay, so looking at data, what makes people churning. Okay, but also how to address that churn. Definitely, as you said, churn is a big topic, and on our side, we always advise to have a specific and dedicated plan to address those users. Okay, it's not something where you can try to drive them with your standard channel. Okay, to get them back on board with your standard journey. Okay, you really need to build a custom experience for them in order to make sure that they are getting back on board. And even among that, you need also sometimes to segment those people. At least this is what we are seeing on our side. You need to segment that population, because for some of them, they might have dropped because, I don't know, the activity you have been proposing was too hard. Okay. Or some of them, they were not interested into activity, but maybe they will be interested into nutrition. Okay. So you need also to do a bit of A/B testing in order to understand, okay, if I take the specific segment, how can I address that? How can I do that? And another challenge also on my side, I would say, is also to manage a little bit the business expectations. Okay, because of course, churn is something that where we are all afraid about churn. Okay, but we have also to consider what happened in the other market industries, because it's a common matter. So
absolutely. So you can't find, let's say, any ideal scenario where nobody churns, right? Because it's just the element, it's like a natural element of every single community, everyday situation. But as you've mentioned, as soon as you can identify the reasons, if you can A/B test the solutions, then you really make sure that you do whatever you can to make these, let's say, make the churn as little as possible.
Correct. And you have to make sure that you have the resources and capabilities beyond that, because it's a true plan that you need to set up. And basically, you cannot expect from any technology, maybe with AI in a few months, but to have something that will be run automatically to get those people back on board.
Right. And as you said, like, there is no ideal scenario, right? So still, like, you need to pay attention to your own database and your own customers, your own clients, and any sort of relationships that you develop.
It's also that we are in a very competitive space. So users have a lot of apps on their mobile phones, but they end up using maybe 5 to 10 apps. So as soon as you end up being the 11th app, the users stop using. So our goal is to try to be relevant, where a user comes back to us because they know they are expecting something that is useful for them, and again, trying to help their health. And we're working also on a very exciting feature that is a churn prediction model. So we are trying to predict when will it be that someone will churn, and we want to offer some tools to make sure that this actually doesn't happen. That's a very exciting feature that we're working together here, and we hope to have something better, something soon on this area.
Absolutely. This is very important moment, as you said, because as soon as you can predict, you can act in the sweet spot where those members are still within the communication loop, and you are still in touch with them, right? Once someone churns or like deletes the app or starts using it, then it's done. But here with this churn prediction model, definitely it's a way to go. It's another useful tool for actually anyone who would like to pay attention to what can be done in order to change somebody's mind, perhaps, or actually bring this value, right, to upfront.
Sure. And what we try on our side is to drive sustainable retention. What I mean by that is we don't want to trigger an action. We don't want people just to open our app once, and then they leave again. The idea is really to make sure that they are going to take those good habits that will allow them to stay into the platform for more than a month, because we know that after that specific points, we will manage to retain people into our platform.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, because that actually means that you need to think about the value and the kind of like a context that will always be there, right? It's something beyond a one-off promo, but it's actually the reason why I would like to use this app or this product or anything like regularly. Awesome. This has been the first part of the interview. In the second part, we explore different gamification mechanics and use cases coming straight from Dakadu. Have a listen. Now, let's wrap up with a few action steps. First, you'll find helpful links in the podcast description. Second, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter for more valuable content related to the episode. And carry on to the second part of the interview. Have a great day, everyone. The Loyalty Builders podcast is brought to you by the team at Open Loyalty, an API-first loyalty engine that allows you to implement loyalty and gamification features into your tech stack faster than developing them from scratch.